I know what you're thinking. Wow, that was actually pretty quick. I told you, baby. Back in the groove. Back in the groove. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is the day after something incredible has happened. You can see behind me, our whole roof got replaced. Oh, it's something we've been waiting for so long. It was such a process with the freaking insurance, man. It was just insanity. Finally, yesterday, man, 15 or 16 people converged on the house around 6 a.m. They worked all the way till 6 p.m. Oh my gosh. The old roof was like 24 years. It was pretty bad. Some places, especially this whole area right here and over here, all that over there was all completely rotten underneath, to include the entire front patio, which was also completely rotten. So they replaced all of that. We talked a little bit about the garage last time, and since the last video, yeah, still haven't done much. See, it's still a freaking mess in here. And the Z, she's looking awesome. I've been taking her out. I've been keeping her clean. Let's just get a reminder. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. The angle here is pretty tight. Again, my GoPro is failing me. I'm actually back to my old like Canon camera so that we can keep going, because I don't want to use my phone. I don't like my phone. Phones are gross to me. But had a concrete guy come. He took one step inside this garage and he's like, bro, I've been doing concrete for 6 years and I've never seen anything like this before. This is absolute insanity with the slope of the floor. So yeah, he gave me a quote. I might reach out to another company or two. I think that'd be prudent. But honestly, it was pretty fair. I was expecting something absolutely and totally insane, but it really wasn't. In my mind, it was pretty fair. Let's go over to the stable and see what's been going on over there. You know, I might just actually get like really serious about this stuff. You know, maybe some real equipment and those machine thingies that attach to your camera that make it so like everything's perfect. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, man. Check it out. Engine is on the engine stand. Don't be disappointed. I know you wanted to be here. My son came down for the weekend. It was his 23rd birthday, and he came and visited us from Ohio. Both of my boys were helping me that weekend. Not only working on brakes of my other son's car, but then we pulled the engine. So that was super cool. Transmission's over there. Things are everywhere. Yeah, we're looking good. This guy, disappointment. It's not working. It doesn't kick into that blah, 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 like crazy pressure. Called their hotline today. You'll hear back in like 48 to 72 hours. So, like I said, I think I might want to work on the Z a little in this episode. So it'll probably be another week before I get this episode out. Because what I'm doing right now on the Z here, the red Z, just cleaning and some basic stuff. Like, you don't need step-by-step of tearing down an engine and doing head gaskets. But once we get down there, obviously I want to show you. Some bees. I thought it prudent to at least show like some initial impressions, because that seems pretty smart. Let's talk about the engine bay. Now that it's out, like, you can see just how disgustingly grimy and bad it is. Lots of power steering stuff. I really want to get to a point where I can pull this out, pressure wash it, and clean it, because I don't want to work on dirty dirt stuff. But my pressure washer is not working right, so that sucks. In here, nothing super alarming. Everything is pretty good. I'll tell you, there's some weird things with the way things are ran. It is obvious the car's been worked on before. Bolts missing on things. Generally, it's just disgusting. That's okay, but I don't see anything else that's like crazy. But let's talk about the engine, because once upon a time, this and the engine were a thing together, and that's where some of the crazier impressions come together. There were vacuum lines still ran throughout the car that weren't doing anything or going anywhere. For instance, with the boost control. So there's an aftermarket boost controller in the car that was ran with this guy to where it needed to go. But the original boost control equipment is still connected, but not connected there. And then if we look at the other side, still connected, not connected to anything here. However, it was still plugged in, and the original boost sensor was plugged in. So chances are, even though it had a boost controller, the original ECU was probably still trying to do stuff and essentially just creating boost leaks. Some oil leak going on, and the valve cover. This guy here, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to replace. I'm pretty sure I have a couple of these on hand. This plug for it is just a melted, disgusting mess. It was laying right there on the actual turbo manifold, completely stuck to it. Probably not a good idea to continue to trust what that's doing. And I wonder, this was actually not working, not adjusting the cam timing correctly, and that's why on the passenger side back car bumper is very, very black from exhaust. Everything else back here looks fine. Rear main looks fine. It was probably changed out when they did the auto to manual conversion. I don't know why they cut for the downpipe flange. And then there's also bolts missing. I think there was one on this side as well that was missing. RTV instead of actual gaskets. Wouldn't do that. Not my first choice. Looks like we got, yeah, more oil leak back here on the half moon. Nothing too crazy, but okay, normal PCV hose, sturdy, normal shape. This PCV hose, I don't know, it's like swollen and it's like squishy, almost like, what's that moon slime stuff that you get? It's all just like really gelatinous and squishy. It's very strange. Not sure what's going on with that, but we're going to have to change that out. Air conditioning was actually only held in place by, I think, 2 of the 4 bolts required. And the power steering, oddly enough, and you know, normally there would be a screw going through this side that's attached to the tensioner. That screw was not even there, so the tensioner screw wasn't there. Someone just put it in place and then just tightened it down. But oddly enough, they didn't really tighten it down. It was pretty loose. There's a lot of loose stuff. A lot of things on this car were loose. So, initial impressions. We're going to get it right. We're going to put it back together. There's a lot of stuff missing. Just a lot of little hardware that's missing. Guys, if you hate your mechanic, do that. That's mean. That's mean. And it's hose clamps on the back ones, too. Don't do that. Don't do that to your mechanic. That's not nice. Yep, gonna keep digging. Once I actually get it clean, I can kind of make a better assessment of like what's going on here. I know he talked about he had a desire to remove the Hicus. I would like your actual comments. Do you think me removing the Hicus, let's say it was super legit, okay? Super legit. NA subframe, Hicus removed completely, NA power steering pump. To you, does that devalue a twin turbo? Let's say halfway, okay? The pump's removed, all the lines are removed. We end up using one of the braces in the back, but still use the original Hicus arms. Use one of those twin turbo power steering pump block plates where you take half of it off. Does that devalue the car more than a full actual conversion removal? And then let's say we just leave all the Hicus crap in and we just put a block bar in the back. Like, I'd like to know your thoughts. I have my opinions. If you're one of those people that don't like Hicus, would you actually consider that a win to find a car that already had it removed? Just, yeah, leave me some comments. I'd really like to know. For the rest of tonight, I think I'm just going to chill out, and I'm going to work on removing the upper plenum on this car. Already kind of late in the evening. I'm just going to work on this for a couple hours till it's probably time to eat some dinner. But I think tomorrow when we come back, let's start out tomorrow on the RBZ. I think we maybe do some work because I've had this project sitting on my shelf forever. I think that's a good idea. Again, I'm gonna chill out and turn some wrenches, and I will see you guys in the morning. Good morning. It's actually it's probably afternoon by now, and I know I said I was gonna start in the other garage. It's been super overcast, nice cool breeze. I just wanted to work out here in the stable and rip this engine apart. I know I don't like to use my phone, but that's all I've got with me right now, and I need to record some stuff so I don't forget. I need to capture this just for myself, for the owner, get my thoughts recorded, because I have thoughts. I have concerns. The engine's totally torn apart. Everything else is off. All the mess is happening here. Where do I start? Lots of silicone. Lots of silicone everywhere. Inside everything. Even on the adjustable cams, the plates that hold that go on the front of the cam, those were silicone too. It's just supposed to be the rubber ring, not silicone. So then there was silicone in the springs and there was silicone in the little screws. There was a lot of silicone. Yeah, speaking of silicone, there's this glob monstrosity right there, and it goes all the way around. We could meet it over on this side. Yeah. Look at that. Look at this worm. Good Lord. And then, yeah, all that too. So obviously some oil leaking taking the turbo off was actually pretty easy. Nothing was too tight. All of the studs on this manifold were, well, all the studs came out, but they were loose. Some of them weren't tight at all. Then this guy, the oil feed for the turbo, was also loose. And I mean loose, like there was a gap, slight gap, which probably explains a lot of oil. There's evidence that the block has been painted, and then look at, like the freeze plugs have silicone in them. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just the one. And then I started rubbing the paint off that one, and I'll bet I could rub the paint off this one too. Yeah, that one's been siliconed in place, and that one's been siliconed in place. I don't know why that's a thing. Okay, let's look around. Dirty, chipped paint. I'm gonna vacuum before I take this stuff out. Like I said, the rear main seal looked good, but that freeze plug has been siliconed. Lots of oil back here. Like I said, there was already evidence of the half moons leaking. Lots more silicon. Nuts. We got nuts in the block valley. I wonder if those freeze plugs have silicone. But yeah, little tops of acorns. So something was roosting in here. I did find a screw up here and another clip in there. Nothing fell inside, so that's good. Good news is the turbos are great. No shaft play. They spin really well. They don't make any noise. No shaft play at all. They're actually mint. Turbos are really nice. One of the transmission plates, these guys that hang on to the block here, and then on the other side, and then they mount to the lower bell housing, had these bolts in them. First glance, sounds fine. Here's the other side, the actual bolts that are supposed to go in there. Notice any difference? I do. And I could feel it taking these out. I had to be very, very careful because they are not the right pitch and thread, and they were completely just cross-threaded all the way into the block. So hopefully the bolt took the brunt of the damage and the block is fine. Let's see, let's try one of the originals and see if it'll even go. Nope. That sucks, dude. So, why do I think all this is significant? All the loose bolts, all the silicone cross-threaded stuff. Someone's obviously taken this engine completely apart before. Like, you don't just silicone the outside of freeze plugs just because. I mean, maybe they took the freeze plugs out, or maybe they did. Maybe they just siliconed the outside of the freeze plugs for I don't know why reason. But I wonder if this engine's had a significant failure in the past and was rebuilt, and now it's got problems. Like, maybe it is actual real problems. Maybe this thing, maybe it's not a head gasket. Maybe it's just screwed. Maybe it's actually a bad engine, because obviously someone's tried to freaking save it before. So, I don't know, man. I'll know more once the heads come off. But I have concerns. I have concerns that this just might be a pile of trash. Ah, here we go. Look at this. Look at the flywheel. That's a good old belt sander job if I've ever seen one. And it's grooved. It's actually the smallest lip on it. on both sides, but it's rough. I mean, it's really rough. It's very groovy. Like a record. So yeah, got concerns. And I don't know, man. I just wanted to record this real quick. I'm not taking these heads off just this moment. I'm just, actually, I think I'm gonna clean up because it's lunchtime and I want some foods. And then I think we'll meet back up in the actual garage with the RBZ. Good morning. How are you? Bright and early on a Tuesday morning. It's been just over a week since that last clip. Busy with work all week, and this last weekend, I just wanted to work the land all weekend. So that's what I did. Cutting and burning and chopping and cleaning and all kinds of things, and did a little bit of work on the Red Z. As promised, we are back in the garage with the RBZ. This is the thing I was talking about here, and it is a dual wideband kit with the exhaust 3.0 plans. It'll basically be 2 exhausts all the way down the car. There will be an X pipe, but I don't want to use one consolidated input for the O2. Each downpipe has its own oxygen sensor port. With the dual wideband kit, we'll actually be reading off of both banks, front and rear banks, have better data for cylinders 1 through 3 and then 4 through 6. I think this would be great in its own episode. So that is definitely what we are gonna do the next time we're together. Once I put this in, I can repurpose my current oxygen sensor kit for the Stagia when it comes time to do the manual transmission conversion, and I do the aftermarket computer, and that's all good and all fine. I told you I talked to the concrete people and had them out here. I wanted to kind of illustrate this even more extreme. Originally, he was talking about leveling it from the back to the door. And I said, I don't really want to do that. It would be significant. And he's like, no, we'll build an apron so you kind of drive up into the garage. I was like, no, we're not going to do that. That's not what I want. And to illustrate that, here are the lines, right? Bottom one represents where we're at right now. That top one represents where the back of the garage is. So imagine, I mean, that is a significant height difference. He was concerned about the foundation around the back. And I've already marked it out here on the corner of the house as well. That's where we're at now, and that's where we want to be. There's plenty of foundation to deal with that problem, and the foundation goes all the way through the back of the house. When I'm going to pull the trigger on that, it's going to be soon, guys. It's going to be very soon. I'm just waiting for a couple stars to align. And then, yeah, then it's go time. I think they said they need about 10 days lead, and they'll rip out the floor and they'll put a new floor in. I think they said it's a 2-day job. And then there's about a 2-week to 21-day curing that has to happen. Additionally, they will be pouring footers for the lift that is going to come in here. I've already scouted out the lift that I want to get. It's going to fit awesome in here. It's going to be great. I'm so excited. You know what? Before we go out to the stables and I show you where I'm at with the Red Z, I gotta show you something else, man. The farm life's getting real. Hold on. I gotta show you this. This is great. All right, we just finished breakfast time here on the Dusty Diamond Ranch. And say hello to all my new little girls. Look at these little girls. So we started off with 6. And then the next day we couldn't help ourselves. And now we're at 13. We got 13 chicks that we're raising, all kinds of different varieties. It'll be a couple months before they are big enough to go outside. In the meantime, I have a mission to build a coop. Late summer, early spring, we should start getting some eggs. And oh boy, we're gonna get a lot of eggs. I think 3 or 4 of them already have a name, but yeah, it's my new little girls. Oh yeah. So another reason for the delay, my pressure washer not working well and something was just funky with it. So I reached out to the tech support, through some back and forth conversation. They said, oh, yeah, it sounds like your actual water pump has failed. We're gonna get a new one out to you immediately in the mail. Wow, that's freaking great. Like, I'm really excited about that. Sure enough, it arrived. I got it installed, and dude, it works better than the day I bought the thing. With the pressure washer back online, I was able to push the car back. Everything else is pretty cleaned up and organized. This is all stuff going back into the car. This is all stuff not going back in the car. I couldn't work on this thing anymore. It was so disgusting, and I was tired of being disgusting. Now that it's washed, it looks really good. And I snapped some pictures earlier, overlay those right now to kind of show you the before and how dirty it was and grimy and disgusting and all that stuff. Just gross. And now it's very clean. It's not perfect. Obviously, it does have some signs of wear, tear, age, and other things, maladies. Some of the Cosmoline is really thick and it's not coming off, but I will try my best. Get in there with a toothbrush and some degreaser. But overall, like the steering, hey, look, it's actually the color it's supposed to be. Gonna be way more enjoyable to work on now, that is for sure. So happy with the progress on that. Thank you, Pressure Washing Company, for sending me a new pump. That was incredible. With the car out of the way, I can also focus on the bees a little bit. This dude is putting in the work. Like, that guy is trapping a bunch of things. The other trap, it's not so successful. I don't know why. I think it's just because they got other holes that they want to be in, if you know what I'm saying. Anywho, guys, that is it for this episode of TueZday Garage. It's exciting times, man. Things are happening. Things are coming along. We got the chickens now. Things just keep progressing on the land. Some days I just wake up and it's nice and cool and it's overcast and all I want to do is work the land. And yeah, it is what it is, dude. It's so exciting. In the next week or so, we're actually having the entire county agriculture department coming out to survey our property and kind of talk to us about not only the chickens, but with bees, with a vineyard, with a garden, with vegetables, with other livestock. It's exciting times, man. It's exciting times. But like I said, the next time we're together, we are definitely working on the RBZ, installing that dual wideband kit. I might again test fit exhaust 2.5. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you when I see you. Until then, ciao a tutti and aloha. Bye-bye. Plenty of sound clips out there in the world of Billy Boat exhaust. I'm not tracking any until now, pushing the sound of an RB.